Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing, I think it's called German Whisper Centers, but I've had just to shorten it here in the thumbnail and the title. Now, I don't know why when I read that title, this ridiculous image came to mind where essentially there is almost like a job center style office building where there's tons of people that are queuing outside trying to go in there to whisper, maybe like it's confessions. It's the end of the world, and everyone is queuing up for 24/7 confessions, I guess, at the Whisper Center. That's the image I came up with, and you can see illustrated here. Now, the name is very aptly named, and I just want to mention that up front because what I can imagine is people are going to rush through the puzzle, not read all the rules, and therefore get stuck. So just be aware it is German Whispers, but not entirely. There's a bit more to it, which is why it's called Whisper Centers. So let's take a look at the puzzle. So German Whisper Centers by Willpower. And normal Sudoku rules apply. So that means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. We have German Whispers, but I think the interesting part that I want to make sure that everyone spots is that the statement here, the intersections of the 6 green lines are different numbers than one another. So you've got obviously all of these German whispers, and I'll step through that what that means in a moment. But essentially we've got these, I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kind of 6 pluses, crosses. That's probably one of the reasons why I was thinking of confessions again. And the center where all of these happen, they all need to be unique digits. Now, I have no idea how we're meant to be using this, but I guess we'll find out momentarily. Now, quickly, German whispers, if you've not seen them before, remember that what it means is 2 neighboring cells on a German whisper line have to be 5 or more apart. If that was a 2, for example, I meant to use pencil marks. If that was a 2, this would have to be 7, 8, or 9 to make sure that it's 5 or more apart. And if that is let's say a 9, this would have to be a low digit from 1, 2, or 4. I've already, well, not 2, 3. I've already used the 2 to be 5 or more apart. So what you're going to end up with is essentially oscillations of low 1, 2, 3, 4 and high digits 6, 7, 8, 9. Not necessarily in that order, it could be high and low, but that's something to sort of watch out for. Is essentially you're going to end up with 4 corner cells from the same polarity and the center one being the different one. Right, that's German whispers and specifically the German whisper centers. We've got KROPKI pairs, really only white dots today. So numbers with a white dot between them are consecutive. So if this is a 2, this would have to be 1 or 3, this would have to be 1 or 3 to make sure that these 2 digits are consecutive with the 2. And clearly because they're in the same column, they would have to be different given the normal Sudoku rules. Not all possible dots are given. Nothing wrong with me having 4 and 5 in here. I do not require a white dot between them to demonstrate that they are consecutive. And then lastly, we have killer cages with no unusual twist on it. Numbers in cages sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage. That means that these 4 cells have to sum up to 23, and these 4 cells have to sum up to 22. That's all there is to the rules. So if you want to visit the German Whisper Center, link will be in the description down below for you to play as usual. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Sorry, I shouldn't be tapping. I'm just observing. So I'll tell you what's sort of catching my attention. I mean, some of these German whisper lines are interesting in that, you know, this is, if these are all low and this is high, this would have to be a relatively high digit. In fact, it can only be 8 or 9 because it's got 3 neighbors that have to be unique, that are all low. So it's something that I'm sort of noticing throughout. And it's actually quite interesting. Yeah, I will use that logic. So it's not really going to get me any digits, but you can see that there are 4 centers that have 3 neighbors. This center has neighbor 1, neighbor 2, neighbor 3. And therefore, if you think about, again, the high digit example, these have to be 8 or 9, or if this is a low digit, it would have to be 1 or 2. If I try 3, I'm going to get stuck because the only two digits that are 5 or more away are 8 and 9, and I can't put them in 3 cells. So in a bizarre sort of way, these are 1, 2, 8, 9 because they all have to be unique. And then I have 2 in the middle. They are almost certainly 3, 7. In fact, they are 3, 7 because they're not 1, 2, 8, and 9. They have to be 3, 7 because, again, 4, 6 wouldn't work. I would need 2 neighbors that are 5 or more away. Double 1 doesn't work for 6, and double 9 doesn't work for 4. So essentially, these two are different, and they have to be from 3 and 7, and I would need to figure out what that is in a bit. Now, I was looking at all of this and thinking, useful. I mean, it doesn't give me digits. So the bit that is probably even most interesting is column 9, where I have all of these white dots. And I feel like I probably need to think through that to actually start placing some digits. I mean, it's 2 minutes, let's crack on. So what I like about this white KROPKI set is it's 6 cells long. So it absolutely has to include the digits 4, 5, and 6. So somewhere in here is 4, 5, and 6. Even better, I mean, look at this outlier white KROPKI dot. Because let me think this through. So I'm just going to throw out some examples just to sort of help my thinking and maybe explain it a bit. Imagine that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see that this is now from 7, 8, or 9. In fact, it has to be an 8, and this is from 7, 9. So in a way, it's almost like these digits where am I going with this? I think it's almost that what I'm trying to state is this set has to be skewed. So if you imagine the number line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, if I don't pick up extreme digits like 1 to 6, and I go for something like 2 to 7, that actually does work. This would be 8, 9. What I think doesn't work, this is 6 cells still, yeah, so that would be 1, 2. So essentially there is a whole bunch of combinations that would work. Yeah, that's not helpful. Not helpful at all. Right, so ignore what I was just saying. Let me take another stab at this again. So I said 4, 5, and 6 have to be in here because it is 6 digits long. 4, 5, and 6 have to be here. And 5 is not part of it. So this is going to be one color. I'm going to start coloring now. This is purple. And therefore, I need to have a maximum of 2 purples in here. Now, the purples could be, and in fact, they have to be different. So essentially, because these two are purple, because there's no 5, sorry, the 5 is contained within, and therefore I can't change colors in here. And I need 3 on this German whisper line that are of the same color. Well, it can't be purple, it has to be orange. And this has to be purple. And you can see now that I've got a purple and an orange connected with white KROPKI dots. So this is purple, this is orange, and here's our first digits. Goodness me, 5 minutes in, 5. Now, let's play this out a little bit further. These are essentially 4, 6. I don't know if I'm going to use letters rather than numbers in a moment. you can immediately see that because purple, I've already used 6, 4, 6. Yeah, I am going to use letters, so you're going to have to forgive me about this because it will get very messy if I try and do this otherwise. So you can enable the pen letter tool as part of the tools here at the top. What I'm going to do is essentially almost treat, because what I'm struggling with is whether purple is high or low. So rather than going around writing a whole bunch of 4, 6s and 1, 2, 8, 9s like I'm doing in here, what I would much rather do is use some letters for a moment because I think it will be a little bit more illustrative. So these are D and F to kind of represent 4 and 6. Now you can see that whatever these are, that essentially the 3 or the 7 are in here. Hopefully that makes sense. Because this is 1, 2, 8, or 9. This is 4 or 6. The 3 and 7, whatever they may be, are in here. And it's either 2, 3 or 7, 8. Because they have to be consecutive. So this is either GH. I don't know if the letters are actually helping me or it feels like it's impeding me right now. Or BC. Yeah, that feels like it's impeding me. Now, what I need in here, so let's just keep going with these. So essentially, I'm either starting from, because of the maximum number of purples I can have. Let me just think through this. If these two are purple and this is a gray cell, that's already 3 orange cells at a minimum. So essentially, I'm going to go with, that's probably why I kind of didn't find this helpful. I'm going to call these, dear oh dear. I am going to use letters, but I'm going to make this simple. This is H or I, this is G or H. And remember, I don't remember if G and H are 7, 8 or they are 2, 3. What I do know is that this is just an I. It's got to be. So this is GH, this is I. I've already done D. This is ABC. Now, because the minimum I can make this is 3 oranges, it can't be a C. Because essentially that would go C, D, E. That would have to be a 5, followed by 3 purples, and I've already got 2 in the column. So this is not C. This is AB. This is BC. This is CD. This is DE. I'm going to change the colors in a second to make sure this is correct. This is EF. This is FG, which it can't be. We've got GH already in the column. That's got to be F. That's got to be E, D, C, B, and A. And these are not A's. And then I've got G and H. I've got E and F. I'm missing, excuse me, that's not meant to be gray, that's meant to be orange, that's meant to be gray. So I'm missing I down here, and that's I. That's got to be orange now, obviously just respecting what this is. I've already got B, C, and D in here. That's just A. What color is this? Can I figure that out just yet? Probably not. Now remember, A and B are either 1, 2, or they're 8, 9. And what am I trying to say in here? I'm trying to say that this is C. Or what may be better, rather than doing all of these shenanigans, is for me to sort of make a bit more progress around here and see if I can actually figure out the polarity in a second. Can I do that? I probably could. How am I going to do this? Let's think this through. I'm sure it's got to be with a 22 cage or the 23 cage. So let's just continue with what these are. So remember, this is either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So this is 4 or 6. Good to know. Yeah, if orange is high, essentially I'm saying these are all going to be low. And in fact, specifically, I'm saying that this is, if these are low, this is 4. Sorry, let me try the other way around. If this is high, this would be 6. And then I'm not allowed any of 7, 8, or 9. The next set that I can have is 4, 5, and 6. But then, of course, that could be 8 or 9. So it is possible. It's tight, but possible. So that's not, the 23 cage is not what's forcing this polarity decision anyway. Okay, let's just see if I can continue what I'm doing in here. What is this cell? It's clearly purple. These are purple because, you know, I've done all 4 oranges. So that's purple. That's orange. And now I'm left with 1 orange, 2 purples, and a 5. And then specifically, because I've done A and B, this is C. So what I have in here, if you think about it in terms of letters, is D, E, and F. Around the C can only ever be H and I. H and I. So D, E, and F, which is 4, 5, 6, plus G, whatever G is. 4, 5, 6 is 15. G has to be 7 to get me to 22. So G, which is purple, is high. Orange is blue. These are, this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 9s. This is a 3. This is all 8 and 9. Excuse me. I can do better than that. This is just 8, 9, 8, and 9 because of this 9. That's a 1. These are 2, 3. These are 4, 6. And these are 7, 8. Now these are from 4, 5, 6, excuse me, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We've done a 3 in here. That's the 7, remember, because they have to be unique. So that's a 7. That can't be a 7. These are now all 1, 2s. And then I've done, okay, let's take a look at what this is. This is not 9. This is 1, 2, 8. In fact, none of these are 9 now. They're all 1, 2, 8. I mean, if this is 1 or 2, is that even possible? No, because I've got 2 reds. So these are blues. That's red. That's blue. This is 8. These are not 8s. These are blues. Reds. We'll come back to that. And I need these to be from 1, 2, and 3. That's not a 1. That's a triplet of 1, 2, 3. I need a 4 in this column. Well, it's not in these 2 cells. That's the 4. That's the 6. That helps me resolve these. And now what do I have remaining? Well, I've got a 7 looking in here. That's the 7 up there. Plus I have a 5 in here. That's 5. In fact, I mean, I could just use this. Got in here 2 digits that are connected with a white dot, and they are 6 and 7. And that 7 tells me that's the 6, that's the 7. This is not 7. This is now from 5 and 8. Can we use the 23 case to actually figure out what this is? That 6 is not connected to a 7. It's connected to a 5. That's got to be an 8 now. That's got to be a 5. And if I've not made mistakes, that's 11, 50, and 23. Lovely. We need a high digit that is not 6, 7, or 8. That's a 9. Got 1 and 2 pair. That's a 3. This is 6, 8, and 9 all seeing this cell. That's a 7. Got 1, 2 pair looking in here. That's a 3. That's a 2. That's a 1. That's a 2. That's a 3. I will color these just so that I don't lose track of them. That 5, that's not a 5. I should probably think about these white KROPKI dots that are in here. But this is another 4, 6 after we got these 1, 2 and the 4, 6 in here. 1, 2 and 3, we've got a 2 looking in there and a 3. That's just 1, that's 2, that's 1, that's 2, that's 1. That 2 gives me a 1 in here, which unfortunately allows me to actually put any of 6, 8 and 9. It's not very helpful. But that 1 does give me a 2. This is from 7, 8 and 9. You've got 9 and 7 looking at this cell. That's just an 8. That's a 7. That's an 8. These are now from 7 and 9, because we've already used the 8 and 6 doesn't go next to a 2. That's not a 9 anymore because we've got 7 and 9 looking at it. This is not 8, not 7, and it can't be 6. That's a 9. You know, I always worry about celebrating too early, where I say this is looking extremely smooth now that we've sort of got the break in. And usually when I say that, I get stuck immediately. So you didn't hear me say it. This is 4 or 6. In fact, these are 4 7s just to complete box 9. Essentially, we've got 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. This is not exactly helpful. Probably move on. Let's just... I have said that we really should look at these white KROPKI dots. They're going to be helpful, but I've not done anything with them. So if this is a 7, well, clearly I'm not climbing into 8 and 9. That doesn't work. I'm not even sure it works if I go 7, 6, 5. It does work. It'll be 8. Still working. So 8, 7, 6, and 5 seemingly works. 6 in here would make this... Well, I can't climb it to 7 and 8 because the 8's not available. So it would have to be descending into 5 and 4, and the 4 conflicts, so it's not 4, 5, and it's not a 6. Now 5 can't climb 6, 7 because 7, 9 are gone. But could it be decreasing into 4 and 3? No, because the 3 conflicts is not a 5. Now 4, 3, 2 isn't descending. 3, 2 doesn't work because of the 2. Ascending might. 4, 5, and 6, but obviously that would require a 3 down here, which is not available. It's not a 4. This is just fixed. It is 8, 7, 6, 5. So I guess it was helpful to look at it. None of these are 7. This is, well, whatever this digit is in one of these 2 cells, plus a 2. And the 2 tells us that's the 2. That's the last 4, 6 from the 4, 5, 6 triplet. Ones you can see in box 1 can only be in here. This is 3, 4 to complete the box. That's not a 4. That's got to be 5, 6 just completing the column. I've got 6 looking and 8 looking at this cell. This is just 9 now with a 6, 8. And then to complete this column, I need 2 and 4. And this 2 tells me the order. That's a 4, that's 2. I need a 3 between these cells. So essentially it's 3, 5, 6, 8. Yeah, not enough information though. That's 3 or 5 because we've got 6 and 8 looking at it. But just it's not enough. 7 and 9, 4, 5, 6 with a 3. Yeah. Let's look elsewhere. What is in here? If it's a 4, it'll be 3 or 5. Seemingly works. If it's a 6, that'll be 5 or 7. Well, it's not 7, but 5 still works. Okay. In here we need 1 and let's say 6. And that 1 tells me the order. That's 6, that's 1, That gives me the 4, the 7, the 4. This is another 6, 8 to complete the row, except there is an 8 in here. That's just a 6. That's an 8. These are now 3, 5, and 6. This is the 3, 5, 6. That's still only 3, 5 because of this 6. But that 6 finally gives me an order. That's 4, that's 6. That can only be connected to a 5. I've actually got a 9 looking at the 7, 9. I don't know why I sort of ignored that for so long. This is 3 or 4 just to complete the row, except I have a 4 in here. That's 3, that's 4, that's 3. I need a 2 in here somewhere, and a 4. 4 is there, just Sudoku. I need 2 and 7. Yeah, that 2 tells me that's the 2, that's the 7. I think we've pretty much cracked it. I think that's the 7 to complete the column. I need a 3 in this box somewhere. It can only be on these sides. 3, 4. 5 is in one of these two cells. 8 is in one of these. In fact, it is exactly here. And that's a 3. That's a 3. That's a 5. 5. That's a 6. 5. Whatever this is. 9. None of these are 6. That's a 5. That's a 4. If I've not made any mistakes, that's the 6 for the solution for today's puzzle. What a lovely puzzle, willpower. I'm kind of almost like tempted to just revisit. It felt like I had the right idea. I just don't know if I communicated it particularly well. So it's a good solve, but it feels like it almost deserves a slightly better explanation of sort of why I jumped onto letters and kind of got onto here. So I am very tempted to do this right now, and you'll have to just excuse the slightly longer time. So we know that, let's just focus purely on the white, on column 9. We know that these are one color, orange. This is purple, this is orange. And I am going to just jump immediately onto, yeah, so we've established that because this is from the digits, this is a 6-cell setup, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And if you want to select 6 cells, you're always going to end up, even if you take it from 1 to 6 or 4 to 9, you're always going to end up using 4, 5, and 6. So this column on the right-hand side includes 4, 5, and 6. And therefore, these two have to be the same color because 5 is not available. So these have to be purple. And now when we've got 3 purples and 3 oranges, we must have a purple and an orange connected with a 5, which can only be in the middle because of this. And now these are from 4, 6. Now, the thinking that I've done earlier about this cannot be a 7 or the equivalent, a 3, is quite helpful because as soon as you put a 7 in here, all 3 neighbors would have to be from 1 and 2. And that doesn't work in 3 cells. So you end up with this sort of fairly ugly pencil marking where you're essentially trying to do, it's either going to be 2 and 3 or 7 and 8. And this would have to be 1 or 9. So it doesn't almost matter which one is purple, as in if purple is low or high. What I think is interesting is essentially we've accounted for all the purples. We only have oranges that are made up of, I'm almost sort of tempted to show you what it would look like if this is wrong, because the logic almost, no, I'm going to keep going with what I was trying to do. So we've got 2, 3, 7, and 8. It's starting to look quite messy. And I can already see that that essentially I'm going to be running lots of oranges. Then I'm going to hit a 5. Then I'm going to flip to purples. Now, it's either 2, 3 or 7, 8. So wherever purple is, and there's a maximum of 2 in here, you can see that I am yes, I have to skip a digit. Because essentially, 19 is not reachable because of the 23. So this cell can't be anywhere on this setup because in order to get to 19, I need to go to the 2378 through it to get there, and they're no longer available in here. So this is the purple 19, and now this has to be the last purple, which would have to be the 4-6. And then this is the 5. And these are the run of digits. So this is either 19, 28, 37, 46, another 5, 46, and 19. And I think just using letters is so much easier than just constantly writing down all of these potential options. So these are now from, goodness, 2, 3, 7, and 8. You can see I've already done 2, 8, 3, 7, and 4, 6. This has to be 1, 9 from the orange set. I've got the 4 oranges. These are now 4 purples. This couldn't have been an orange. This is now an orange. And this has to be from 3, 7. And depending on what this is, whether this is 3, 7 or not, this would be from 1, 2, 8, 9, all 4 of these cells. So I don't know if you can actually make a break-in with the 23. I think the break-in has to be done with the 22 because you've already got 4 cells. And then the question is, what cells are you missing? Because the options are, in fact, 1, 2, 8, and 9 are gone. They're not part of this row. They're all 4 are written in. They're pencil marked. So essentially, it's you've got 4, 5, and 6, and either a 3 or a 7 to add up to 22. And then that forces the 4, 5, 6, and 7, making this a 3, and then making orange low and purple high, and then you're able to make a ton of progress after that and actually start writing in some digits. So I guess you can do it without any kind of shenanigans with letters. It's just, I think it just looks a bit clumsier for me. Cool. That was worthwhile. Hope that you guys found this extra bit a little bit useful. Certainly showed, I think, in my mind, some of the beauty of this puzzle. And hope that you guys enjoyed the video, the additional content, I guess. And of course, the puzzle itself. See you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.